Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Love Your Dogs podcast. My name is Bre Drake. I am a holistic dog health educator and a certified holistic pet health coach. Sorry, scratch that. A nature aligned dog health educator. I keep forgetting that I switched it. This podcast is heart led, real life, experience based, and sometimes a little bit of dry science because we got to get the science in there. Today, I had the opportunity to sit down with the lovely Judy Comer. She is the Devon Dog Lady on Instagram, and she is just the most calm, grounded, wise soul. I came across her Instagram videos several months ago and knew I just had to talk to her, whether it was just one on one or in a capacity like this, because she is the embodiment of what I want to be here. Is just this calm, grounded, steady leader. And we kind of talk about leadership in this chat, but um, I just was just gravitated towards her. And I'm so glad that we were able to work it out to where we got an hour or so of her time. She has a background in, and she'll get into the details better than me, but human psychology, working as an animal behaviorist, working with horses, working with dogs. I believe it's 50 years of experience, working with animals. And many people refer to her as a dog whisperer, and I could see that just from her Instagram videos. And now talking to her, I'm blown away. And I want everyone to go into this with an open mind and being ready to receive some things that might seem a little harsh, but they're true. If you want to improve your relationship with your dog's mental health, physical health, I would really take a lot of this to heart and take some time to sit with it because it's valuable stuff. But I won't keep chatting. I will let you guys get right to listening to this amazing chat.
Am I saying your name right?
You are. You got it just
Okay,
right. I'm
okay,
so happy
wonderful.
to see you.
Ah, me too. We finally made it.
So gosh, I remember coming across one of your videos online several months ago, and I just thought, my goodness, I have to pick this woman's brain. I just love your calm presence and you're so grounded. And I don't know how much you know about what I do, but
I'd love to
I,
know.
yeah, so I'll make it really short because this is
Mm.
about you and your information. But I lost two dogs to cancer a couple of years ago, very close together, and one was pretty young. So that just sent me on this journey in learning where I went wrong because I did everything conventionally. I did all of the shots, all of the kibble, all of the flea and tick prevention, all of those things. And the more I dug and the more I learned a lot of those things are harmful. Especially, so this is where it segues into what you specialize in. So the more I've learned, I've kind of dove into this holistic world. And while there's a lot of valuable information and advice and education, I think the biggest missing piece is that our dogs aren't being treated like the wonderful animals that they are. I think that's really the most important piece, and that they can overcome a lot of these toxins and the stress that we're throwing at them in our modern world if we treat them more like animals. So I just
Is
thought
that,
it'd be lovely to talk to you.
yeah, and have you found
Yeah.
evidence about that?
Um, you're saying studies?
Yeah, because
Uh,
I'm familiar with the behavioral side, but
uh-huh.
I am interested in the link with the actual physical health and how we relate to our dogs. Is
So,
if I've understood you rightly, is that what you were saying?
yes, I'm saying that. So, for instance, say a dog that lives on a farm, which I think your dogs do,
Mm.
and they're getting so much movement every day, miles and miles a day. They're getting to make their own decisions. They're getting to chew and chase things and lay in the sun, be on the ground all the time. I think those dogs' systems are better equipped to handle the kibble, the vaccines. Not that they ever should. We should still try to get as much of that right as we can, but just by the laws of nature, an animal or even a human, any living being that's moving and living closer to what they should live like
Yeah,
is going to be happier and better equipped to handle things. So,
yeah, and their
my
bodies
message
are gonna work better.
exactly, exactly. So, I loved I've learned a few new things about you. So I learned you're also a breeder, right?
I have been, yes, yeah. I used to
Yes,
breed
okay.
lurchers, yeah.
Yes, and I'm not familiar with that breed at all, so we'll have to get into that too, but I think one of my favorite things, and maybe we can start here because I know this is your comfort zone, is I have notes. I liked the line that you don't train dogs, you train people. So
Yes.
what does that mean to you in your practice?
It means one of the things it means is that I can work with people anywhere in the world because I do not need to meet the dog. In fact, even if people want to bring me a dog, I won't even let them get the dog out of the car for the first 2 sessions, at least, because I can help the family, I can help the human and the dog more if I teach the human. The changes come faster and the change is deeper, and we go to the cause of the problem, which is always the lovely human.
Yeah.
And do you want to
I
know why?
Yes, of course. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Okay. And the reason is that we are the wrong species for them. We are a completely different species, and we are the wrong species for a dog in some ways. In fact, we're lucky because it works so many times, such a lot of the time. But sometimes it doesn't, and when it doesn't, it's because we come up against this species difference. Your dog is perfect. You are perfect.
Mhm.
We've got this interspecies gap, and that's where things get confused. Yeah. It's the messages that get confused. The human's lovely, the dog is
Yeah.
lovely, but we are
Yeah.
speaking different languages. We do have different psychologies. We have
Mhm.
different social systems. And if I'm doing human and my dog's hearing in dog, then there's a potential for a communication problem.
Yes.
Yeah. And in 30 years, I've not found any other problem between humans and dogs.
It's the
So,
human
well, yeah, and the space in between,
and
really.
the space in between.
Yeah. So we need to train the humans because we can't really train the dogs. Well, we try to teach the dogs human, but they can't really understand human. And so, okay, we can repeat behaviors with them and do stuff like that, and that's
Yeah.
great. But we can't teach them human, even though we spend a long time trying. We kind of say, good dog, yeah, well done. No, 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 no. And we're actually trying to teach these beautiful creatures concepts like right and wrong. And that's trying to teach them human.
Mhm.
And it's not very effective. It's much better if I stop all that nonsense and I learn a bit of dog.
Uh,
And if I learn a bit of dog, I can, it's just about, I need enough dog as if I've got Google Translate on my phone. No, not even that much. I need enough dog as if I had learnt a phrase book and I was an old-fashioned tourist going to Germany with a little phrase book. You know, it's not rocket science. I don't need to learn a huge amount to be able to
right.
bridge this interspecies gap.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, everyone thinks they bring me a dog for me to fix the dog. Everyone thinks their dog needs fixing. Their dog has a problem. Sometimes people come to see me or they contact me and we work online and they kind of seen my videos. So they say, yeah, yeah, I know I'm the problem, but my dog does this and this, and sometimes she does that. And then sometimes when I worry about her doing this and this,
Mm.
and I say, let's take the focus off the dog.
Yes.
Let's take the spotlight off the dog. The dog doesn't need fixing. Well, maybe your dog does, but they'll be the first dog I've ever met that did need fixing.
That is
And
wonderful.
so far, it's been true.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although
and
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Although sometimes, um, things have gone very far and things have gone to us so far that it's no longer a safe situation. So I had a lovely couple who actually had to put their dog to sleep,
No,
today.
regression.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah,
Then
oh,
they're not people I've worked with,
mhm.
unfortunately, because this would never have happened.
Yeah,
But, they had contacted me and were trying to decide euthanasia or work with Judy. And,
right.
unfortunately, a couple of bad incidents happened just the day before we were due to start. Yeah.
And they had enough, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes people have to make really hard choices because, at the end of the day, you have to keep your fellow humans safe. And if a dog's accidentally got messed up so much that they're going to be a danger to others, then sometimes some hard choices have to be made.
Yes, that
Yeah.
breaks my heart. And that's why
Yeah.
your work is so important because you
Oh.
help people to get there, and that's another thing that I love that you said, and make sure I get it right here. Dogs are never naughty. They're always doing
Mhm.
their best.
Mhm.
So tell me more about that because I think that kind of fits in here where
Yes.
that dog just learned some bad habits and
Mm.
over years most likely, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So in this case, the lady rang me last night and, the dog had attacked her in the field. And the dog had drawn blood. And so the backstory is lovely family, but it was their first dog. It was their son in his 20s who had adopted this big bulldoggy thing. Do you know bulldogs? Yeah,
Yes.
of course you do.
Yes.
Um, I just didn't know if it was English in particular. And he loved this dog to bits. And he rescued this dog from a potentially difficult life where it might have been used for fighting. And he loved the dog to pieces, and he was best friends with the dog. The dog went everywhere. The dog slept with him. He played with the dog, lots and lots of rough play. And there is a real link between the type of relationship this lovely young man had with his dog and the confusion in that dog's mind, and that dog's belief that had very, very, very big, important job to do, that humans were his playmates, and that he could rough and tumble with them. And if they said no, the lady in the field was saying, "No, stop, stop," as he was rushing up to her in order to play the kind of normal game of tug of war and, a crazy situation.
Yeah.
And the poor doggy would have thought, um, "Oh, she's really excited.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna run at her again." Or
Yeah.
maybe also, "Oh, she's not playing in the usual way. I'll try harder." Yeah. And so it ended up with a bad situation. A lady who was terrified and came back unwilling to try anymore with this dog. Yeah. And yet
Now what
the dog was definitely doing his best. He was doing what he did all the time, to run and do a play fight with his human, and she wasn't responding, so he would try harder. And yet, of course, from the lady's point of view, it seemed like this dog had crossed the line. This dog was no longer safe. This dog had attacked her. This dog had drawn blood. And this dog, she could never keep it because what if it was a child next time?
now what would you, briefly or in as much information as you'd like to share, how might you have approached that situation if she
Mm.
did still decide to work with you? today or this week after that incident? How
Yeah.
much
Well,
Yeah.
just to say that, I also supported her with her decision. It was one of those situations where we nearly saved the dog. And I understand how she couldn't take even any risk with children in the street or other people. And so it was a very sad decision. And I would support her whichever way she went. Um, if I'd got to her earlier, just a couple of days earlier, I would have said, don't let him off the lead in the field because we know he's going to go crazy and expect a ball throwing, expect rough and tumble. Keep this dog on a lead at the moment. He needs his whole world reframing. He needs everything calm, everything orderly, everything controlled, life very simple, lots of jobs, sits and stays, lots of boundaries, lots of slow activities, lots of limitations temporarily, because this is the language of love when we really want to help this guy change. Because he'd been brought up exactly as you would bring up an attack dog, except for less disciplined. Excuse me, all dog trainers who work with security dogs. I'm sure you do a much better job. But this young man had brought up a dangerous dog by accident. As the mother said, she said he did this in all innocence. Yeah, he loved this dog so much, but he loved the dog in human, and he didn't have the knowledge or the wisdom to, and he didn't have the learning to do the right thing for the dog. Yeah, to apply dog principles, dog psychology, to really hold a space for the dog, to really practice things with the dog that he would want later, and not practice things that he wouldn't want later, that would encourage the dog to attack his mama,
Mhm.
if we
Goodness,
can
it's
call it attack.
I know.
Because the other
It's
way is that the dog wanted to do the same rough play that he was used to.
Yeah, and it's so challenging because there isn't a lot of upfront education for the most part when people are bringing home a dog, adopting a dog. No one's really telling them what to do, and people just kinda go into it and wing it, and obviously they'll learn from their experiences and their mistakes, but usually as a beginner with a dog, you just do what feels right, and sometimes, like you
Yeah.
said, we don't fully understand dogs well enough, and we end up showing them how to live in our world in the wrong way, unintentionally.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
just
what do you
because
what do you
with the best will in the world, we can so easily confuse them for baby humans.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
So, what are the biggest ways that modern dog culture humanizes dogs and accidentally creates problems? And like you said, we treat them as little babies and
Yeah.
humans
Yeah.
instead of the dogs that they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a difference between the whole dog culture thing,
Mhm.
because when you say people get a dog and they don't know what to do with them, well, there is a lot of material out there. There is a huge amount of material, too much maybe,
I know, yeah.
because people come to me and say, "Oh, it's so confusing. Everyone's saying different things." There's a lot of advice out there, but I would question some of it. Some of it is, a lot of it is based on human ideas and comes from human behaviorist psychology. So, in behaviorist psychology, we try and change what people do by changing their thinking, changing their habits. But um, there's not much acknowledgement of the species difference in the dog advice out there. For example, this young man might well have heard the man we're talking about with the dog that attacked his mama yesterday. he might well have understood that you're supposed to play with your dog to stimulate them, to create a bond, to uh, exercise them, to do everything wonderful. And it is such fun, isn't it, playing with a dog? It's really beautiful. And I love it too, when you pick up a ball and you pretend to throw it one way and then you throw it the other
Yeah.
way. And it's just wild. Such fun. But what I say to my clients is, okay, take a ball and go and play with your partner or your friend in the park and leave the dog at home. And the reason I would say that, I'm going to link it again to that
Okay.
dog that had the unfortunate. The reason I say that is in this case, the dog we've just been talking about who attacked the lady, um, it was definitely part of the picture that every time they took the dog to the field, they would have a ball because they thought he needed entertaining, he needed exercising in order for him to be a bit more calm at home. And so they would throw this ball and tire the dog out and keep him occupied and stop him going crazy and jumping at them and trying to rough and tumble and play fight with them. They would manage to entertain him and distract him by throwing a ball. And it also did have the effect of making this guy a bit more crazy. Used to running and high activity and high adrenaline and being used to excitement and going fast and running away from them and then running at them and changing
Mhm.
directions. And it's a lot of pressure on a dog's joints
Yeah.
and it's a lot of frying a dog's brain.
Yes.
And again, please forgive me, everyone who enjoys ball with their dog. If it works for you, that's great.
Mhm.
But I see all the people where it's probably not a good idea.
Yes, I
Uh,
mean, I was certainly guilty of that, excuse me, with my last male golden. He was a ballaholic, and
yeah.
you could see it. It kind of does turn them
Oh,
into a little crazy, and I
yeah.
remember just wincing and cringing sometimes when I would throw the ball, he would go after it so fast, he'd almost
Yes.
somersault.
Yeah.
So now with my current golden, who's just shy of 2, he's doesn't know a ball. We don't do
Mm.
that. We're
Oh,
training him to
yes.
be a duck dog, so retrieving when we do it is very structured, taken very serious, but he does
Mm.
not do fetch and ball for entertainment or
Mm.
fun. Our entertainment is I go and walk with him. It's walking, it's sniffing, eventually we're gonna do biking, so yeah, I'm glad you apologized to anyone listening because it's ingrained in our minds that
Yes.
you take them to the
Yeah.
dog park where there's all these other dogs and all of
Mhm.
this stimulation, and you throw the ball, and then these poor dogs, they get
Yeah.
home and they're still wired because they've been
Yeah.
so overstimulated. They're not tired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it's
else they do collapse, but then when
yes.
they wake up, they're, "Ah, da, da, where's the hyperactivity?"
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it also teaches a dog to go away from us, and
Yes.
like you found with your previous ballaholic, I like that
Yes.
word,
Yes.
um, we just asking them to get obsessed.
Yes.
It's an obsession, isn't it? Like, where's the ball? Which pocket's it in? Hopping sideways
It's
and
all they think
just
about. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and what they forget how to just be a dog, patrolling the territory with their beautiful human in nature. Yeah.
Is
But I can understand why we do the ball stuff because we are us humans, we are so busy.
yeah.
We don't have enough time. We
Yes.
want to give them the best.
Mhm.
We think we need to tire them out, and it
Mhm.
seems a really good idea. And they seem wild with joy. And I say to my clients, yes, they seem very excited, but if you had a child, would you want to give it 5 Hershey bars? and then it's gonna be climbing up the walls, and that's really not what we want. And it's the same with the ball. Yeah.
Yes, so I'll share a quick story. We just got on
Mhm.
the road in our camper truck with our just shy of 2-year-old Golden, and we experienced something similar, not with the ball, but while we were loading and packing and there was all this stimulation in the air, we let
Mm.
him hang outside with us, and he was running around the yard and chewing sticks and following us around, and I thought, "He's gonna be so nice and tired
Yeah.
once we get on the road." And Judy, it was the complete opposite effect. He was wired the whole drive yesterday,
Yeah.
just hyper vigilant, wouldn't settle, and that's kind of the same thing. It's
Yeah.
counterintuitive. We think we give them all this
Yes.
exercise, all this physical activity, they're gonna be fulfilled and they're going to be tired, but it's usually not the case. They usually need
Yeah.
more rest to be calmer. They need to feel safe and
Yes.
rested. Yes.
Yeah. It's a case of less is more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
more rest, more slow activities, less
Mhm.
craziness. Because
Yeah.
if we practice craziness, they're gonna be crazy. And if we want a calm dog, let's do calm things. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does a what does a biologically appropriate normal day look like for a dog? If we're gonna exclude these ball throwing type activities, these high stimulation dog park visits, what does a day look like for a dog that is going to stay calm and regulated and fulfilled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to say, first of all, that it could be any type of day, because I want the human to be free. We don't need to be regulated by a clock. Lots of people think, oh, they need routine. And that's not my experience. I just want the human to be free to have a gorgeous day that includes the dog. And yes, it's great to do dog appropriate things. So anything you want that's quiet, quiet activities. I love your idea of cycling with a dog, running with a dog, walking with a dog. Those are really great forms of exercise, which are,
Great for the human too, right?
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just like what we would be doing. I mean, think
Mhm.
back a few thousand years, or maybe more, a lot of thousand years, and we'd be running to get to somewhere, and maybe we would have a dog with us, or maybe the dog would be at the homestead. But we would be active, we'd be out there, and we'd be crossing the terrain. And same with dogs. That's what they'd be doing. They'd be traveling. And they'd be traveling, they'd be with their human, following their human, all going round the homestead. They'd be patrolling the territory. It's kind of useful, purposeful, and directional activity. And so there's nothing better than walking with my dog. I'm talking about with my dog. So whether that's on the lead or not on the lead, it's the fact that we are together in a walk that I'm leading that has meaning for me, has meaning for my dog. And my dog's meaning is I am doing a very important job. I'm patrolling the territory with my fantastic human leader.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful because it's very fulfilling, very important. We imagine it's boring. We imagine the fun is when they're free and running, but actually, it's terribly fulfilling for them to be doing this job, the most important job of the day, when we patrol the territory within our pack with our leader.
Mhm.
And you can imagine that without those patrols, the whole community of dogs would be vulnerable. There's not much more important than that for a group of dogs. And so it's massively important. They're protecting the hunting grounds, the mates, the young, the food sources, and they're keeping the other packs off. It's the big job. And no wonder it's so satisfying just walking the territory, patrolling the territory several times a day. And we're really lucky because a dog walk on a lead or with the dog to heel, or
Mhm.
sometimes with the dog mooching free behind us,
Yes.
we mimic exactly all of that stuff. And it's no wonder that the dog will be so fulfilled and everything will feel right. It will tick all those boxes.
It's so very simple, and
Yeah.
in everything that I do to help, I work one-on-one with dog parents, mostly from a health perspective, but I try to talk about a lot of this too, is we look
Mm.
to nature, and I like how you brought that up, how dogs have evolved to live alongside humans and just having this job and this purpose, and the purpose doesn't have to be anything extravagant or specific. It's literally just being by our sides and patrolling wherever you're
Yeah.
at, wherever that may
Yeah.
be, in the park, your own home,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I mean, I certainly prioritize walking with my dog, and it just helps us to slow down. I know a lot of the complaint is I don't have time to go walk my dog, but I think if you really make an honest effort
Yeah.
to increase that even 5, 10, 15 minutes a day
Yes.
and
Yes.
just realize how much more clear-minded you are, how much more
Mm.
productive you are, how much better you feel, how much how much more calm your dog is. You can get more
Mhm.
work done. So it's just
Yeah.
a beautiful thing that I encourage everyone to try. No matter how busy you are, I think the most important thing you could be doing is usually getting outside in nature and walking with your
Yeah.
dog for yourself
Yeah.
and for your animal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's loads of health benefits, aren't there, for us walking? We're
Yes.
designed to walk.
Yes.
And they would be walking even without us if they live in community on their own. Street dogs, wild dogs, would be doing these patrols anyway of their own territory. So it's perfect. We can do this stuff together. Yeah. And
Well,
so apart from that, I would say um, hanging out, being apart's really important because we want our dogs to be happy when we're there and happy when we're not there. And so we need to practice that with them every day. We need to leave them a lot so it's a beautiful, normal thing. And that's really good for them to have downtime. I've not met many dogs with separation anxiety. I have met a lot of humans with separation anxiety. And what we call separation anxiety with a dog often happens because the human's not been able to leave them when they were tiny. And we get confused and we think this puppy um, is a baby, and we apply psychological theory, but human psychological theory. All these ideas about attachment, etc. And sure enough, we have a dog that can't be happy on its own. And I just say, whose separation anxiety was it? It was ours. One way of looking at it. The other thing to say about separation anxiety is that we imagine the dog is frightened, heartbroken, lonely, and needy.
mhm.
In my experience, I have not seen those things. I have seen dogs that were anxious because they needed to be with their humans to do their duty. They needed to be with their humans to look after them. They needed to get out of this place because they had a job to do. And their whole life is based on their love for their human and their devotion to duty, which is wonderful, admirable, but it is not fear, anxiety, distress, trauma, all the stuff we imagine.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes when we leave a dog and the dog might be crying, whining, scratching, howling, or other behaviors, we tend to believe that's distress, and we tend to believe it's kind of emotional distress, like my dog loves me so much it can't bear being on its own. Oh no, it's desperate. I can't bear to see it so upset, etc. And when I help people work with that, it people find it really useful to understand that actually we laid on loads of human emotional needs, thoughts, psychological needs, processes, motives, drives, and a whole load of human stuff. And actually, we could reframe it and understand my dogs on really, really clever strategies in order to get reunited with me because they believe that's their duty. Their job is to protect me. They've got the wrong job description, by the way. But if they believe their job is to protect me, then of course they're going to do all their best strategies to be reunited with me somehow so they can do their job. Because,
Okay, so you touched on that.
yeah,
It's not the right job. What do you mean by that?
well, um, I don't want my dog to have that responsibility. I don't want my dog to believe their job is to protect me. Yeah, because um, it's not going to be much fun for my dog to have that level of responsibility. My dog is going to be anxious. My dog might well be aggressive because life is scary, because there's no one taking care of the dog in this scenario. And my dog will want to do their best to take care of the pack. And Judy's obviously not going to be, Judy's not in charge. I love her, but she's like my big, useless, two-legged pet. And I've got to look after her. She's hopeless. I love her so much. I've got to look after her. I've got to be with her all the time. I've got to get out of here. I've got to be with her. It's my duty. It's my job. And that's no fun for the
Mhm.
dog and ultimately for the human. No. And you've got separation anxiety, you've got anxious dog and aggressive dog all come from that confusion in the relationship.
How do you resolve that confusion? And I guess how do you get there? And how do you establish yourself as the leader and
Yeah.
the steady, grounded leader?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, we have to, yeah, like you say, when we want to help an anxious dog or an aggressive dog or a dog with separation anxiety, we will start by working on the relationship. The relationship is the frame of everything, the whole life of this human and this dog. And I really think of it like a picture frame. And the relationship, this frame, also is the job description. Either I am the kind, calm, competent, confident, relaxed, um, and competent in dog. I'm putting two little dashes in there. Either I'm the beautiful, kind, calm, relaxed, confident, competent in dog leader for my dog. And that's going to be wonderful because my dog will feel safe. My dog will be relaxed. My dog will know that I'm taking care of everything. My dog will look to me for guidance. And my dog's going to feel good. And that we're going to have, really easy life with behaviors that are good, behaviors that we want, that work for us both. But if I don't set up that relationship, it it could be that my dog believes that they are responsible, and this is a very anxiety provoking position to have and a very anxiety provoking relationship to have with their human. And that's where the dog might become aggressive, desperately trying to keep the pack safe, and their beautiful human that they love so much, who's not in charge and can't do the job. Or the dog doesn't try and do it, but they just feel so scared. And we don't want either of those for our dog.
All right, so let's talk about never reassuring your dog. And I think you mean in a lot of situations, but especially in an anxious situation, no comforting them, babying them. Is it like rewarding them for the behavior? Is that the problem?
Well, it's more like really scaring them.
Okay.
Because
Oh, right.
if my dog is scared, anxious, it's so understandable that I will want to make them better. And
Yeah.
how do I make someone better if it's a human? I will be reassuring them, and but I might sound pretty freaked out when I'm reassuring them. So if my dog is scared, this is what I should not do, folks. I do not do this. Oh, dog. I'm so scared. Oh, what's the matter? Oh, come here. It's okay. It's okay. And I know I'm exaggerating. Probably
Yeah.
none of you are that bad. But just to
Right.
make the point, yeah?
Mhm.
The one
Yeah.
thing you don't want to do is reassure your dog because it definitely makes them more scared. And because your dog's experience is going to be like, oh, it's really scary. Because look, Judy's really scared. Oh my God, it's terrible. Or it could be, oh, we get scared together. We get so scared. Yeah. And that's
Yes.
not the way to help your dog. If you've got an anxious dog, it's vital that you hold the place of everything being fine. You're the kind, calm, confident, relaxed leader, and you're carrying on with your life and your walk or whatever you're doing,
Mhm.
and you trust your dog will sort themselves out, and you know
Yes.
the best thing you can do for them is be the one who models for them.
Yes.
Be the one who models for them that I'm okay, the
So you're
world's
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
and you're okay wherever you are. I'm not very focused on you. Wherever you are, whatever your name is. I'm joking, yeah. But I'm just kind of trying to indicate how I will absolutely take the focus off the dog,
Mhm.
and that will be more helpful. And I will carry on the walk may be on the lead, so we're more connected. I'm leading the walk. I know my
Mhm.
dog's going to be fine. I'm not going to worry about it,
Yeah.
um, because that's the kindest thing I can do and the most helpful.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of my top three most challenging types of cases is the anxiety cases.
Mm,
And like you said, it's because of the human
mm.
saying, "But my dog needs me, my dog is scared, they need me to sit with them and pet them," and then
Yeah.
over time, the human starts anticipating that reaction, so the dog is already feeling the anticipation of the fear, whatever it may be, long
Yeah.
before it's ever an issue, and that's just a really, really hard
Yes.
hurdle, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
that
kind of vicious circle, isn't it then?
uh-huh,
And so we have to help that human understand that
mhm,
it's not optional. They have to step up for the well-being of their dog.
yes,
And
I
then we
like
help
that.
them fake it till you make it. Do this, do this, do this, and
Uh-huh,
don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And then they can
absolutely,
climb out, the both of
yes,
them, they can climb out of that cycle. And I would also be focusing with that client on supporting them to create a 24-hour relationship which helps the dog feel safe, where I have got the right relationship with my dog so that my dog knows I'm taking care of everything and that they can relax. The beloved follower.
Now, do you find this more common, in women t than men? As I find personally, my husband is the grounded, steady one, and I can tell our dog tends to gravitate towards him because he is so much more even emotionally. So do you find that to be true with people that you're working with also?
find that the people who baby them less make the best
Yes.
dog leaders.
Yes, yes, that's so hard, that's so hard. I know most people listening will be like, "Oh, no way," but it's true. I see it clear as day with my own dog. I'm the nurturer, I do the food, I do the
Yeah,
babying, and
yeah,
even knowing it's not the right thing, is still a really hard habit to break. But they
yes,
do like you to be more quiet, and if you are gonna talk to them in a normal voice.
yeah.
Be, less words is
Mhm.
better. Yeah,
Yeah, less is
yeah,
more. And
yep.
but there's one exception. We're
Mhm.
never gonna say less love,
Never.
only more love.
Yes, I
But
like
we are
that.
gonna say less babying.
Mhm,
We do not want to baby these dogs. It's no good for them. It's not comfortable for them. It's only about our own needs, meeting our own needs. Either our own needs to have a baby or our own needs to be babied that we project onto the dog. And it's because we're confusing them with a human. And it's never the best for them. And it's hard not to, especially if we have a small dog. You've got something small and beautiful and adorable and warm and furry. And it's really hard not to confuse that with a baby and
mhm.
not to want to be babying it.
Yes. Yeah,
Get a
it's
Great
almost
Dane, get a Irish Wolfhound. Big dogs suffer much less from
Yeah,
being messed up by humans. Yeah,
okay. I didn't know
because
that.
yeah, they're less likely to end up on our laps.
Mhm. Yes.
Just one, they're less likely to end up on the sofa. They're less likely to end up on the bed.
Yes, I remember you sharing a post about that, and it made me feel good. This wasn't my rule, but my
Yeah.
husband's rule has always been dogs
Yeah.
aren't allowed on the bed or on the couch, which is great because, and people think that's so challenging. Well, this is why it's not challenging, is because he's never been allowed on the bed or the couch since he
Yeah.
was a baby. So he has no idea. To him, that's just off limits, not an option, so it's very
Yeah.
easy, but tell me why you have a whole theory and philosophy
Okay.
behind that. Yeah, tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that, it's very interesting.
Well, I just want to say first about your dog who never wants to go up there. It's great that you've never had your dog on the sofa or on the bed, um, but your dog wouldn't even want to do that because your dog would feel more comfortable in the appropriate place. It's just a great relief to be doing stuff that feels right psychologically for your dog. And where dogs have been on the sofa or the bed, and we make those changes, they just immediately are into it. And you can kind of see that there's a relief, and they just love being in a more appropriate, safe place with their human on the sofa and the doggy on the ground, where things feel right the right way up, the safe way, and the comfortable way, and the way that it would be in the dog world. But I want to be really clear that if your dog goes on the sofa, if your dog goes upstairs, if your dog goes on the bed, it's fine, fantastic, enjoy it. It's just for people who want to go the extra mile in creating a relationship that could be very helpful for your dog and for you. And it's where maybe things have got in a muddle, then it becomes really useful to apply this um, basic language because it's going to be helpful for dogs where the wires have got crossed with humans. So an anxious dog, an aggressive dog, a dog with separation anxiety, it's the first thing I send all my clients home with. The first homework is going to be get your dogs out of the bedroom, get your dogs downstairs, get your dogs off the sofa. And And we only do that if the humans are comfortable with it.
Mhm.
But usually people have come to me because things have got in what I call in a muddle.
Mhm.
We've got stuck in some behaviors we don't really want. And then, if they're willing, I make those recommendations. And they are the most powerful thing. And there's the big, huge, gorgeous step one of change for these people who've come with their dogs with behavioral problems.
Yeah.
So an aggressive
So
dog will start already being less aggressive when they no longer go on the bed, in the bedroom, they no longer go upstairs, they no longer go on the sofa.
and
They'll
that is
be
because
just
it moves the human into more of that leadership role?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because dogs live in beautiful, peaceful communities.
Right.
Um, I want to be really clear about that. I'm not suggesting that dogs live, in some kind of dominant um, um, hierarchy, you know, about with an alpha and everyone fighting tooth and nail to get to the top
Yeah.
and um, anything like that. People have lots of concerns, maybe understandably, about the ideas that dogs want to dominate us and we've got to put them in their place. And
Right.
we don't mean that at all, of course, but it's true that when dogs live together, their communities are ordered and everyone has a different job and a different role, and these roles are agreed. And at the top of their community, the leader of their community is a really good leader who has a different job description. And everyone communicates their respective roles and everyone agrees them and they're constantly agreeing. It's a consensual community
Mhm.
hierarchy. And so it's really important to state that because people get really freaked out about the word hierarchy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we're not talking about dominance. We're not talking about coercion. We're not talking about survival of the fittest or alpha dogs or any of that old-fashioned stuff. We just notice how all animals that live in groups organize their group in a system and a community where everyone has a role, everyone has a place, and there is a leader. And
Yeah.
so, whether it's ponies or sheep or elk or bison
Mhm.
or chickens, they all do the same stuff. And does it look like it's, you know, aggressive or unpleasant or a load of fighting? No, it would not serve the furtherance of these species, all these
Mhm.
animals that live in groups. It's to the advantage of all these animals, all these groups of animals, that they live in harmony and in peace. And the way they organize their community in their beautiful, beautiful, peaceful, loving hierarchy
Mhm.
is what keeps them together, what enables them to share resources, what enables them to co parent, to hunt together as a team, and to share everything and to live peacefully and cooperatively together. And when we know that, then we stop being too scared of hierarchies
Yes.
because this is love in dog
Mhm.
and it's love in for any species that lives together. Chickens do the same type of love.
Mhm. Wow, that all makes perfect sense. I
Yeah.
love the way you explained all of that. That's so beautiful. Now, do you mind? I talk a lot about species appropriate feeding on my account and with the people I work with. Tell me how you came about. I know you do raw feeding
Sure.
with your dogs. When did
Yeah.
that come about? How long have you been doing that? And do you ever recommend that to your clients from a behavioral perspective and see improvements?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I love feeding my dogs raw because it's simple. I've
Mhm.
been doing it for a long time, about 20
Yeah.
years. I deliberately don't think too much about it. Um, I have a vague plan that my dogs eat small mammals. And so, therefore, I'm planning to give them similar ratios to there are on a mammal. For example, a similar ratio of muscle, bone, and organs. And whether it's a mouse or whether it's me, we're all a similar ratio. So I like it because it makes things easy. I'm never going to weigh anything. I'm never going to chop anything. I'm never going to put anything in a bowl. I want to be free. And I love just throwing a chicken carcass after maybe a blessing, because that's the only thing, dear people, is the questions that we have to ask ourselves about killing one animal to feed another. And that's another question. Bearing in mind that I can eat vegetarian, which I do, but for my dogs, it's not so simple. And I'm using up chicken carcasses, which are a byproduct of chicken portions. So I'm doing my best to make it least worse for the dear chickens. I also do a little blessing for them before I throw them to my dogs.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, it is a crazy thing. And I like the fact that I feed my cats as well, the chickens. So one chicken can feed a few cats and a dog. So that's quite a few lives for one chicken. So so I do it, and I like not measuring, not fussing. If I find that my dog's getting fat, oh, I'll give them a smaller chicken next time. If my dog's a bit thin, oh, I'll give them a bigger one next time. And I love
Yeah.
keeping it simple. And if
See,
I've
this
got
is exactly why I had to have you on because there's so much overwhelm. There's so much
Yeah,
information around feeding dogs because the kibble industries, I don't know what it looks like where you are, but here in the States, they've made us feel like we're too dumb to feed our dogs, that it's
yeah,
complicated, and that if we try to feed our dogs ourselves with fresh foods, that we're not gonna achieve balance. And the
yeah,
way you just put all of that is really how simple it is they
yeah,
eat whole prey, whole
yeah,
animals. So as long as you're maintaining that ratio to some degree, that's
yeah,
beyond healthy because
yeah,
they're always in the wild, they're always gonna be getting different parts of the animal and different types
yeah.
of animals, so that was just beautiful. I think it's gonna help relieve a lot of listeners of the
Mm.
stress of feeding because even the best organizations there's an organization here in the States that I love for teaching people how to feed raw, but if you really wanna do it simple and not be overwhelmed, they just need to listen to that few minutes or
Yeah,
so by you because it's
yeah.
so simple. It reminds me I don't know if you know of Dr. Ian Billinghurst, but he wrote a book 30 years ago or so called Give a Dog a Bone, and he has
Oh.
the same philosophy
Mm,
where you just feed them meat, bones, and organs, keep it
mm.
diverse, keep it simple,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
measure, don't panic, maybe some
Mm.
fermented, fresh seasonal veggies now and then to mimic
I like
stomach contents, and yeah, go ahead.
I like the word fermented,
Yes.
because it's either fermented or cooked. Cooked is not maybe as good as fermented, but it kind of copies what there would be in the prey's stomach. Yeah, because that's how our dogs would get their greens,
Yes.
from the prey's tummy.
Exactly. Yep.
And if I'm chopping up carrots and stuff or green vegetables, it's not going to really do it as good for my dog as if it's semi-digested, which it would have
Exactly.
been in the prey's tummy. And the nearest thing I can do is either fermented or my cooked leftovers from dinner.
Well, you're brilliant. You need to do nutrition coaching too.
Oh,
Now, I
yeah.
asked, do you incorporate that when you're working with people? Because I know, you mentioned the Hershey bars earlier and a small
Mm,
child. Giving the dogs a dry kibble is kind of the same thing. They eat that that's carby, starchy kibble that turns into sugar, and it makes it hard for dogs to focus and listen. Kibble can make it so hard, can affect our dogs behaviorally to a pretty significant degree because their gut is responsible for
Yeah.
kinda keeping the body on the rails, keeping the mind on the rails. So, have you noticed that at all? Do you incorporate that in your
I haven't noticed that, but now you
Okay.
mention it, I will be, keeping that in my
Oh,
mind because
good.
of
Yeah.
that gut-brain
Yes.
connection, of
Yes.
course. So as you know, the
Yeah.
kibble was
Uh-huh.
invented to
Mhm.
use up the waste from human food production when
Yeah.
we started doing processed foods after the Second World War. And someone had this wonderful idea of packaging the waste, I imagine, was swept up from the factory floor. I'm sure it's not anymore because there are standards. But then what a great idea. Put it in a bag and sell it as specially designed, highly researched, tested, and with added vitamins, this amazing new thing called dog food. And of course, they have to add the vitamins because they've just used terrible waste from the human food
Yeah,
industry.
that offers nothing to dogs to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they add the vitamins, they add the herbs, they put
Mhm.
all the names, they put a brown paper package and call it natural. They say recommended by a vet and everything. And the thing is that we can judge this food by looking at the dog's poo. And if there's a large poo, we know they haven't digested much. If there's a large smelly poo, oh, we know it wasn't digestible in the first place. It's just gone through and it's fermented and come out. I think of it sometimes about that it's a bit like what went in the first end is what comes out the back end.
Basically, yes.
But but I know the vets are doing their best.
I know.
Um, they are taught by the food manufacturers. They are sponsored by the food manufacturers. Um, it's the vets are doing their best. They really believe that this is better, that this is balanced, that this is safer for our dogs, etc. So we can't criticize the vets. Somehow this knowledge has just been becoming part of the
Normalized, yeah.
system, yeah, and is perpetuated. But who
Yeah,
makes the money? It's the manufacturers, of course.
absolutely. Absolutely. I try to always remind people about that. There's certainly vets, there's people in every field that are in
Yeah,
it for the
yeah.
money, but for
Oh, I was
the
gonna say
majority
good vets. Yeah.
yeah, the
There are
majority of
loads of vets.
them are in it to help, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's the sad part about it, it's they're salespeople, they're sales reps for pharmaceuticals and
Yes.
for kibble, and yeah, so they
Mm.
really are trying. It's not all of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and some vets do recommend raw food. What we can
yes,
say
do you
about
see
raw
that more where
food,
you are?
yes, a bit
Good,
more.
good. Yeah.
And sometimes you get a homeopathic vet, and they might
Oh,
be more sympathetic
do you use
to
a homeopathic vet?
I use homeopathic equivalent of vaccinations for my
Oh my
dogs.
goodness. That can be a
Yeah.
whole other topic one day, Judy. That
Yes. Okay.
homeopathy has my heart, and I did the same with my
Yes.
dog, the
Yes. And
no-sodes.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can talk about all of that
amazing.
and herbal as well. Herbal wormers I use.
Yes, good for you.
Yeah,
I
and
love
not
that.
aromatherapy.
No.
A dog can smell a teaspoonful of sugar
Oh,
in an
Judy.
Olympic swimming pool. So
You
imagine if I'm doing what I think's really sweet aromatherapy,
Uh-huh.
essential oils.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
know, I
cruelty.
know. I'm glad you said that. There's the whole flea and tick prevention thing, and the safe alternative is these essential oil sprays, which don't work, and dogs run away from it because, like you said, their noses are so strong, it does have an effect on them. So I've been slowly educating people on that. They don't work and they are harmful. Maybe
They're
as much harmful as the preventatives themselves that you're trying to avoid. And
yeah,
I
and cruel,
recently and cruel,
cruel.
yes. I recently made a product, an herbal apple cider vinegar rinse, and it smells vinegary, and for humans, they'll probably complain that it doesn't smell good, but I could never put essential oils in it to make it smell good for the humans because the dogs do not like it, they do not need it, so that's something I really wrestled with, and I'm glad you brought that up here, and I
Yeah.
hope everyone I've been saying it for many episodes that
Mm,
they're not worth it, the essential oils,
no.
I
It
think their
makes us
noses are
feel
just too
good.
sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah, but no good for a dog. Yeah.
No. Oh, wow. We're on the same page.
Especially those collars, that you have
Yes.
an anti-bark collar that
Mhm.
shoots citronella in the air. I mean,
Mhm.
horrendous.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just constant overwhelm to their system.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
for days, days,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
it
wow.
doesn't even, get associated with the bark because, it's too diffuse and delayed and not at
Yeah.
the s happening at the same time. Yeah. So, yeah, food. The one other interesting thing we could discuss one day would be vegan, because I think there's a lot to be thought about and said there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's something I haven't really looked at a whole lot,
Yeah, I
but
haven't either, but
yeah.
I'm thinking we have we have an ever increasing dog population.
Yes.
We are having to kill a lot of animals to feed our dogs.
Yeah.
And there are some people who I don't know enough about it yet, but there are some nutritionists who think we can do a good job
Okay.
with vegan for our dogs.
Okay. Yeah.
And, I'm struggling with it because I'm a raw food person.
I
And
know,
yet,
that's yeah.
I'm an animal lover. So I need to start thinking about this stuff.
Absolutely, yes. I think
Yeah.
about, the more people I reach and educate on
Yeah.
raw feeding, is that sustainable? The more and more people that do
Yes,
it. So I've thought about
exactly.
this too. So
Yeah.
it does make sense to have some sort of a backup plan. Yeah,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'm inspired
Yeah.
to look more into that.
Yeah.
Let's talk really quick. I don't want to keep you
Yeah.
much longer.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your background and how you started
Ah,
doing what you're doing. I know I should have
yeah.
talked about this at the beginning, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I came from a typical English dysfunctional family. And who connected us all? Who did we all love? The dog. And so, the dog my dog got me through my childhood, and the books that I loved as a child, it was 101 Dalmatians,
Yeah.
not the film, the book, and, which my whole life, I've loved that book so much, and it's meant so much to me, and it's such a great comfort to me. And um, so I've had dogs all my life, and they've been just so important to me. And when I was pregnant 30 years ago with my twins, what did I do? How did I make sense of this huge lump of babies in here? I pretended I was having puppies. And
Mhm.
then we, when we had the scans, we named one of them Lucky and one of them Patch. And when my babies were born, we've given them those names on their birth certificate. So my son is Donald Fergus Lucky, and my daughter is Harriet Beatrice Patch. So, it's just dogs everywhere all the time
Yeah.
in my life.
Mhm.
And 50 years of living with them. And then at the same time as this dog stream in my life is also been a great interest in human behavior, human psychology, and communication.
Yeah.
So my background is advertising, marketing, and television, and also psychology. And I spent 10 years doing psychotherapy and studying as a psychotherapist. And I spent 10 years doing communication studies, nonviolent communication. I don't know if you know Marshall Rosenberg, a
Yeah.
wonderful American teacher.
Yes. Mhm.
And then another amazing American teacher, Byron Katie.
Yeah.
which is also that's also about communication and our thinking. And so then I'm doing on this side, I'm doing all this human stuff, communication, psychology. And on this side, I'm doing animal, horse psychology, natural horsemanship, which is very beautiful. And it's about finding a way to communicate with horses using their language.
Ugh,
And then it doesn't take too much to start applying that to my dog life and my communication with dogs. And then helping people with dogs more and more. And I've been helping people for 30 years
yes,
now
and you
with,
do offer online chats or
yes,
consultations to help people with their animals, so
yeah,
where
I
can
never
people
need,
find that?
yeah. Um, we can maybe put a link to my website.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and my Instagram, and you can contact me with a DM. You can
Well, your
go through
Instagram
the,
is incredible.
oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I hope you have fun, everyone. There's lots of free videos there. And
Yeah.
I love working around the world. My mission is to help dogs and humans right around this planet. And I'm writing the book at the moment, and I want to help change the culture.
I
And
will be buying it. You let me know
yeah,
when that's ready. How far along
yeah.
are you?
Well, not far enough
Okay,
along.
okay. That's okay.
But
It's a work
I've
in
got an
progress.
agent.
Uh-huh.
And I'm writing it. And,
Wonderful.
I've had a publisher. We're changing publisher at the moment.
Mhm.
So it's gonna happen. It's on the way. And, if we can change the culture, we can help every dog in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You really can. Well, I know I will be trying to book some time on your calendar just to get some advice for my
Fantastic.
relationship with my dog,
Yeah.
even though, people might assume that I'm perfect and have it all figured out. I certainly don't and would love to work with you to make sure
Fantastic.
I do a great job with this little guy. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Well,
Yeah.
we've always all got something to learn, haven't we,
Yes,
from
always.
each other? Yeah.
Yes, for
So that's
sure.
wonderful. And I love working across the world, and I people find it hard to believe that I do not need to meet their dog. And it's just amazing
Because
because
it's
they
the
get the
people.
same results
Yeah.
as the people down, in the next town whose dog
Mhm.
I do meet,
Yeah.
because it's not about me fixing the dog, it's about me training the human who goes away and practices with their dog. And that's why it's great. And I've got clients at the moment in 4 continents, but no one in South America. So if anyone in
Oh.
South America is watching,
Okay. Well, that's
please
a goal.
contact me.
That's a goal for you. You gotta get another
Yeah,
content reach or continent reach for
yeah.
sure.
I've got Australia, North America, Africa, Europe,
Oh my
India.
goodness.
Yeah.
You're worldwide.
And the Middle East, Kuwait. Yeah.
That's
Mm,
incredible. Well, you're
which I
making
love.
waves, and I'm excited to share your wisdom with everyone
Oh,
that follows along on my journey because your wisdom is
yeah.
just so invaluable. Thank you,
Oh, thank
Judy.
you. Such a
And
pleasure.
yes, and you hang around for a moment and we'll chat for a second.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thanks.
My goodness, how wonderful is Judy? I could listen to her and that accent and that calm spirit all day long. She is just wonderful. I'm going to link where you can find her down in the show notes as always. She did let me know that she has, I think the title of her book is going to be Loving Dogs and How to Love and Live with Your Dogs. And so she's working on a book and that will be coming out. And of course, I will make sure she keeps me on the loop on when that will be available. And I'm sure if you go give her a follow, let me double check that I have her Instagram exactly right. I'll make sure to link her Instagram in the show notes too. But yes, the Devon Dog Lady. That's D as in dog, D-E, V as in Victor, O-N. The Devon Dog Lady. She's incredible, right? I just really loved talking to her. I really loved how much we focused on, or how much she focuses, almost entirely on the human. I've learned now working with people one on one for almost 2 years now that so much of it has to do with the human and getting the human healthy first. And that's something I've really been focusing on. and considering furthering my education in, because I think our dogs could be a lot healthier given the humans work on themselves. So that was wonderful. I'll link everything below, and I'm starting to lose my voice if you guys couldn't tell, and we're on the road. We are in Illinois. We've been stopped for a couple hours now. My husband's probably ready to kill me. He's just been playing outside with Pine, being so generous while I recorded this from the road. So I have to let you go. Thank you all for being here and love your dogs.